What is going on, guys? How are you doing on this lovely day? It is the morning for us currently, but welcome to Slevteks Roundtable, where we have conversations with streamers of all sizes to get a little bit more insight into who they are on and off a stream. Today, we have an amazing guy, Dr. Tony S. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited
Awesome.
to have you on. You are fresh to the game of streaming in general. You just told me that it was
Yeah,
like June you got into the scene, and well, you kind of started as a viewer, and then just recently in September you've kind of manifested into a streamer of your own. Yeah.
that's right. Yep.
So
Yeah.
run me through that process. How'd you kind of get into video games? How'd you get into like streaming, kind of things like that?
Well, so gaming for me was kind of sporadic when I was a kid. My parents split and my mom lived. I grew up in Washington State.
Okay.
So when I would visit my mom, my little brother had a Nintendo,
Mm-hmm.
the old Nintendo with the big
Okay.
old the big cartridges that you had to blow
The
on, and
NES,
so
like the purple button one. Is that what you're
yeah,
talking about?
the big box.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
like all
So,
grayed out. Yeah.
play the Super Mario Brothers.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
just, yeah. So
All
that's where I
everything's like
started.
2D, most
Yeah,
definitely.
that's right. And Donkey Kong and all that other stuff.
The
So
Legends.
that's that's it. That's it. And then I didn't really touch video gaming again until after I was in the military.
Okay.
So it's a funny story. I told my wife I was going to share this story too. Um, so we were in the military, and through my church, we had a ministry for the single sailors.
Hmm.
So we would have them over at our house for lunch once a week,
Okay.
kind of get them out of the barracks and feed them food, and,
That's awesome. Yeah.
just get them, they're away from home for the first time. So we wanted to, give them a place where they can just chill
Yeah.
out and have fun. And so I told my wife we need to get a PlayStation. So,
So they can game and
so
just
they, so,
relax.
so they could game. And then I expressed to her that I need to practice during the week so
Was
that I
it
don't get
was this
beat.
your master plan, man? Where you were just like
Yes,
trying to get back into tune with your video game love?
that's right. That's right.
You finessed her, man.
Yeah, I put it to work for sure. And then
That's
so I
awesome.
said I have to practice during the week, so that way they don't beat me. So I started on Madden
Hmm.
and MLB.
Okay.
Those are my two games that I really started playing, and so
So heavy into
it
the
was a lot of
sports
fun.
games, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome.
And then it kind of morphed into the NCAA.
Hmm.
So I was playing Madden '97
Oh wow.
on the yeah.
Okay.
So it was a lot of fun. That's back when if you would take your quarterback, it's 2D, right? So you were looking on top,
Yeah.
and you would take the quarterback, and you can run around in a circle like that, and the all the defenders would follow you. So you could
Okay.
and then you can score a touchdown and stuff. So it was kind of cool. So yeah,
Eh,
and then so then after that, I didn't touch video gaming for a couple years.
mhm.
I did have a PlayStation. I had a PlayStation. I had PlayStation 1 and 2. Actually, I had all three of them.
Mhm.
I have a PS4 in the living room, and it was more of a every once in a while,
Sure.
sporadic. Um, Play sport, football. I mean, I didn't even get online at all. I
Yeah.
mean, I wasn't online at all
Most definitely.
for all those years.
And that's quite
And
a big span then, isn't it? You
yeah,
know, from playing
yeah, and it
PlayStation
was.
with those guys, or what PlayStation did you get for those guys?
I had a PS2.
Oh, so it was PlayStation 2, so probably
Yeah,
around like 2000, 2005 ish.
yeah. So it must have been. It must have been about 2001, 2002.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
during that time frame. So we were able. So that's how I got into that, and then we've moved around a little bit, and so we ended to find ourselves on the East Coast.
Hmm.
And after watching the videos, I kind of wanted to get an idea of, think about what I'm going to say and stuff. But
Sure.
um, so it wasn't until probably my first Call of Duty game is Advanced Warfare.
Really? Oh, so
Yeah,
your first experience was like those exosuits.
this is the stupidest game I've ever played in my life.
Dude, I played Advanced Warfare for 20 minutes and I never played it again. I'm not even joking.
I absolutely could not stand. I mean, I played, and I'll give you a little backstory in that,
Sure.
but I played just because, but I was cutting my teeth,
Mm-hmm. Most
th-
definitely.
and being a military guy, you don't think about it from the idea that you don't climb on walls,
Mm-mm.
right? And
Yeah.
these stupid jetpacks, and I just got frustrated with it. But anyway, so but I actually was on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
I swapped over to Xbox for Advanced Warfare.
Oh, okay.
So my oldest daughter got married to a gamer, and he had an Xbox. So I figured, hey, bridge the gap and see if I can't get in there with him. I like gaming and
Yeah,
stuff.
no,
So,
definitely.
but between that, I found out my younger brother played video games still, and he lives in Arizona.
Oh, there you go. Me too.
There you go. So he, I asked him, I said, what game does he play? What game do you play? And he said Call of Duty, and that's how I found Advanced Warfare.
Oh, okay.
And we hadn't talked in years prior to.
Mm-hmm.
So the gaming system actually
Brought you guys
uh, brought
together.
us brought us together.
That's
Yeah.
actually really fascinating. Did you guys have like a falling out that, and then you guys kind of
No.
just kind of how life happens at times, you know?
Yep. So my younger brother lived with my mom. I lived with my dad, and I left to the military, and we just kind of just didn't have anything in common. There were many
Yeah,
years.
most definitely.
I
How
mean, we
much
said
younger is
hi
he
and
than you?
year and a
Year
half.
and a half. Okay, so you guys are
Yeah.
still like relatively like relatable. I would say it's not like a 10-year gap where you guys
No,
were
right.
born in, like, cause my brother's 8 years older than me, and like now we can associate with each other a little bit more. But like growing up, it was just like I was the younger brother, like running
That's
around
right.
trying to be around him. You know what I mean? More of a
That's
nuisance
right.
than anything else. Looking back at it, in
Yeah,
hindsight.
absolutely.
But
Yep.
that's cool. So do you still play with your brother to this day, or
Every week.
every week? That is so
Every
that
week.
that is so heartwarming because like it brings people together. That's what like gaming and like the sense of community and everything around the internet should be based around. It's
That's correct.
connecting
Yeah.
and reconnecting, most importantly, with like your loved ones.
Yep. Absolutely. So we started off. We play, Friday, Saturdays.
Mhm.
We ended up. So what did it go? Infinite Warfare. Then we got World War II was next, right?
That was a fun game. I did enjoy that.
Uh, I actually in the last couple of weeks have gotten back to it,
Okay.
get back into it. So because I'm not a good player, but I just enjoy it. I'm more of a multiplayer guy.
Okay.
So so I went back to it a little bit because Modern Warfare, while it's fun, it is broken.
Yeah.
It's absolutely broken. They have a good platform, and I wish they would just listen to the community, because I listen to a lot of YouTubers, and I don't. Some of them are not very kind,
Yeah.
and I think they're like being like critically negative,
Yeah.
where you can still be constructively critical,
Most
right?
definitely. Yeah.
So, but at the same time, what they're saying is not wrong. It's
Yeah.
just how they're doing it.
So what
So,
with Modern Warfare? What are your biggest issues with it? Because I'm always curious to kind of hear what everybody kind of thinks of it.
so for me, it really boils down to like I would have a game, and I think it boils down to the skill-based matchmaking. So I would have a game. I would have 4 or 5 games where I'm like 25, 26 kills, maybe 4 or 5 deaths,
Doing
and
great.
I'm owning the lobby.
Hmm.
And then I get into a game and I can't get one kill.
So it's
I'm
like
like,
the
oh my
opposite
goodness.
ends of the spectrum. Yeah.
So then you start thinking, well, is this guy reverse boosting? And I'm like, oh my goodness, because I didn't know what that was, so I went and researched what reverse boosting was, and I'm like, oh my goodness, game is making me reverse boost. I mean, because I go from doing really well to really sucky, and it's
It
like, oh my
sucks.
goodness,
Yeah. No,
yeah,
it's not a fun experience. Like for me, I've played Call of Duty since multiplayer since the original Modern Warfare back in 2007. So
okay,
like I'm so traditionally used to the 3-lane maps. You
yeah,
have your like horizontal playing field. You maybe have like a second floor that you have to like look up at. But apart from
Sure.
that, you don't have like the exosuits or the jetpacks where it's like all over the place, you know.
Right.
And there's in this game I've noticed obviously there's no jetpacks, but there's so many different lanes. So there's still like 3 lanes, but there's little gaps and openings all over the place that
Yeah.
they've even gone on record on like interviews, and they've said that they've opened it up and they've made more head glitch spots and just kind of like points, you know what I mean, where people can post up or post points where they can the person that's not the greatest at the game, like essentially the new Call of Duty players, can come in and still have an enjoyable experience. But what that
Sure.
does is there's a skill gap, you know, and in every Call of Duty prior, that skill gap was pretty large. You know, if you were great at the game, you could run any lobby you ran into. And then if you get into another lobby with like sweaty people, you still can like combat yourself, you know?
Right.
And that's
Exactly.
I love Search and Destroy because you could essentially be a one-man army where you could take out the whole team by yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in this game, you can't. You know, like
Yeah.
there'll be games where I can get 40 kills, but I'll get 27 deaths. You know, or 20 deaths.
Right.
Which is a good game for a lot of people, you know, but in prior Call of Duties, I'm getting 40 kills and 3 deaths, you know?
Right.
And so as a content creator, it doesn't make it nearly as enjoyable to play, let alone make content from, because when you're editing, you want to have that nice gameplay that you're excited to get
That's
out
right.
to like the people,
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
and you don't really get that anymore, and it's, or at least for me, you know what I mean? There's content
Right.
creators that love it, and I'm so happy for them. But for me personally, I just hate when that skill gap gets closed, you know?
That's right. Yeah. So then we moved from World War II to Black Ops 4,
Okay.
which was a lot of fun. Of course, we have Blackout.
Yeah.
So I actually got the beta for Blackout,
Okay.
and
That like 1 week.
yeah,
Time frame.
it was a weekend, I thought.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was just like most of everybody, you know, you jump in there, it's like, what in the world is this? I did have a little bit of an idea because my brother and I and a friend of his, we were playing PUBG there for a little while.
Okay.
So kind of understood the concept,
Definitely.
but I didn't understand the strategy,
Most definitely.
right? So you had to learn strategy and things like that. So, unlike most of the people you've talked to, my KD in Blackout is below 1.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't get my first solo victory until September.
Okay. How
But
long did you play for though?
all year. I got it brand new.
Dude, that is awesome. I think that's awesome. You know, you stuck with it until you got it. You could have just reached out to me, bro. We could have gotten it in a day.
So it's actually my first. So do you know who Piper is?
Pied Piper, yeah.
Yeah. So he actually got me my first quad win.
Okay.
So I met up with him, and there was and there was a couple others with us, and I wasn't alive for it. So in my mind, I didn't count unless I was alive.
Yeah,
so
I got you.
but that's just me. I mean, the win is a win, but I didn't count it.
Yeah.
But he was the first one to give me my, and you know, Black Mamba.
Yeah, Black Mamba.
I love that guy. He's so awesome. He helped me get my first duo.
Okay.
And then that wasn't until like July.
Yeah, and then September you got your very own.
And I was actually kind of being kind of snobby to, you know, some of the people I was running with. I said I can't play with anybody right now because I every day I was grinding it out to see if I can get that solo victory.
So run me through the process. How'd the game go? Paint the picture
okay.
for me, Tony.
Okay. All right. So the final circle is right above the dam. So what had happened is at that moment I was covering. So you have the dam, and then you had the little hill that's on the. So if you're looking at the dam from this way, I had this hill up here. I had a crud, I'm forgetting the name. I had a Paladin and I had a KN.
Okay.
And I wasn't hitting anybody. I mean, I would hit them, but they would, you know, they just go out in the distance. I wasn't getting. So I had it at that point. Once the circle started closing in, had 2 kills. So what I did was I dropped down and I went north towards the, those pods that are in the right above the dam.
Yeah.
Yep. So I headed out towards that way. And then, so I'm coming across because like I said, it was above the dam, above the hill. And then so that way I would have high ground on everybody.
Most definitely. Is that more, let's say you're facing the dam, is that more on the east side or the west side?
Well, the right side.
The right side. Okay. So
you're going towards the
asylum.
What is asylum?
Yeah.
Yep. So I come around that rock and I'm coming up. I had the luckiest kill right there. The guy ran out of bullets. It's the only reason why I didn't die.
That's awesome.
So I had it. I must have run out of bullets because I think I changed over to an MX9. And
which is a rough gun to have at the end of this.
Yeah. So I came across, killed him, and then I came up and over. And by that time there was only like 6 or 8 people left.
Okay.
So I'm not a camper. I'll rather die trying than just sit there in the corner and so I was actively looking for things, but it just ended up to where they were killing each other.
Yeah.
So I was kind of watching how these battles were playing out.
Yeah.
And I don't mind third partying. It's actually easy kills, right? There's no shame. no shame in that. No shame in that. So I was actually streaming it.
Okay, nice.
I actually streamed it and had one of my strongest supporters with me, Youngblood. He is one of my greatest supporters.
Shout out to Youngblood.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I love it.
And so I said, I'm not trying to ignore you guys, but I gotta get this done. You gotta give me some on this, right? So as I'm coming down, and there was that little ridge. So I went up to the top of the mountain and started coming back down. And that's where there was a little house right there. I mean, I haven't played Blackout in a little while, but the little house that comes down, and so there was 3 people left. There's 2 that I saw in front of me, and then myself.
Okay.
So I dropped down and I'm coming to the left. So I'm basically following the circle. So I got the edge of the circle.
Then is that now on the left side of that waterway? Because I'm thinking of the houses.
Nope, there's a little like outhouse type thing. It's just small.
Still on that right side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't have many circles that end there, so I can't picture that exactly. But okay, keep going.
So I actually saw them 2 dueling. So here's what happened, right? So my brother, like I told you, him and I play all the time, and he had just came into my chat.
Oh, nice.
And I said, Bill, hold on. I got to stop. I'm trying to get this win. Don't talk to me right now. So he was actually able to see my first win too. So I'm coming around and these 2 guys were fighting. The guy on the right died, but he weakened the other guy. Yeah. So then when I came around, he was hiding behind a rock and I circled out wide and was able to take him out.
With an MX9?
Yep, with the MX9.
Your first win was with an MX9. How did that feel? So run me through the flood of emotion when you got that final hit marker where like you see that like red X just cross through and then victory pops up.
Slev, if you want to, you could go into my Twitch videos and add it to this clip in your podcast here. Okay. But it's a shot that was heard around the world. Let me tell you, I absolutely went ballistic.
Did you just quote JFK?
It was.
Well, not him personally, but
yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
So I actually, you know who Ozzy Skills is?
Yeah, I'm big friends with Ozzy.
Dude, I love that guy. He is awesome.
Raised
he actually
$5,000 for the Australia
fires.
Yeah.
That is
legendary.
Awesome. He actually played my win, the final kill on stream.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Probably got you a couple more views as well, or some people, some love.
Yeah, I got a little bit of love out of that one, but man, I absolutely went ballistic on that. My kids came running in. What's wrong? But it was awesome. No, yeah, I finally did it. I did it.
Like
Yeah.
full Rocky montage. That's
Yeah.
so cool, man. So you had
Yeah.
4 kills then for your first win?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was 4 or 5 kills by the
Four or
end of
five,
time.
yeah, because you killed that one dude
Yeah.
at the that ran out of bullets, and you had
Yeah.
2 prior, so 4 or 5 makes sense. That's so cool, man. Like, I find it
Yeah.
so enjoyable. I find so much happiness out of people that aren't orthodoxly good at the game. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That aren't just like absolute like slayers. Because I've been playing this game for over 10 years now, so it comes naturally to
Sure.
me, and I know it doesn't for a lot of people. But for
Right.
somebody that can still find that enjoyment and grind it and have fun with that process of trying to get better is so refreshing to me, because it's something that you have that other people don't. Like
Mm.
mostly creators or like streamers are good at the game that they play, and a lot of people don't want to get into it because they feel like they're not good at the game or as good as them.
That was me. That was me for a long time.
Yeah. So what made you like kind of jump in and dive headfirst into it with that preconceived notion? I
I'll
know
give
your
you.
skill wasn't
Yeah.
as high.
Okay. So, like April, May last year, I was just really getting frustrated with the game just because I wasn't getting anything,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm under if it's not working, you got to move on to something else.
Sure.
You can try and try and try. So I went to YouTube, found Simsy, found some other people, and I wasn't really watching their stream as much as I was watching some of the instructional videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember everybody, but he's the one that stands out. There's a couple others. And just kind of watching them. Then I got into their streams, and then one thing led to another. I'm watching 5 or 6 different streamers, and
Sure.
this was all on YouTube for a good couple months.
Yeah. That's where a lot of
And
people
then
start out at, like,
yeah, and so then
content.
so I didn't have anything. I didn't have the gear. I didn't even know how it worked. I didn't know anything about streaming. I thought you had to be really good at it. I thought you had to have like almost $1 million to get started. I mean, that was, I'm like, I can't even imagine. Excuse me. So
what was your setup like originally? Were you playing on like a TV screen?
Yep, I have the 40-inch TV screen that you saw behind me. But I was always looking up because I put it up on the high. Yeah. Because it's in our bedroom here.
Did you have a headset, or were you doing like the speakers?
Nope. I had headset.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had a good foundation, I would say.
Yeah, I was at the time I was using Corsairs.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I really like those. These A40s were actually donated to me from another guy, from another gamer. So
nice. Very cool.
Yeah. So about July timeframe, I don't know how Black Mama and I met, but I asked him if he was on Xbox, because that's where I play. I play 90% of my games on Xbox, and I friended him on Xbox. And one day I'm playing, and he jumps on, and he messaged me, and he goes, "How do I know you?" I'm like, cool. I mean, and I knew he streamed, so I'm like, oh no, streamers reaching out to me. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? Yeah. Did I do something wrong or whatever? Right. He says, you want a game? And I said, yeah, let's do it. My normal response is, hey, I'm not good. Yeah. I mean, I'm a good bullet sponge, but
I'll be a meat shield for you.
Yeah. He says, don't worry, man. I just like having fun. So we got to be, we played it 1 or 2 times. And so then what I would do is I would just go into his stream when he was on, and he was YouTube, a little bit of Twitch, a little bit of YouTube, back and forth. And then what I asked him was, could I help him? Help him as far as thumbnails and videos and stuff like that. So I researched it, learned how to do it, and got in it. And a lot of what you see on there, the video editing and stuff, I cut a lot of my teeth on some of the things he allowed me to do, right? And I thanked him for that, because giving me a shot where I didn't have any prior experience. But it was fun. I really enjoyed it.
So that's how you kind of got into it then, as you started actually editing and kind of doing the back end process of content creation, which is no joke, in my eyes, the grunt work, that
That's right.
so many content creators don't want to do.
Yeah.
You kind of buckled down and was like, hey, like, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to provide you value in this way,
Yeah.
and also acquire skills with the process.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
what software did you use?
So I have Camtasia.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Yep. So Camtasia. So what I would do is, like if he had a good run, or like on Twitch, like he'll stream for 6, 7, 8 hours.
Sure.
He'll say, "Hey, I want you to take this video set," and he'd give me a start and stop date,
Oh, okay.
or start and stop time. And what I would do is I would take Camtasia. So Camtasia allows you to record your desktop.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that a lot with a little side business that I got going on.
Oh,
With
it's like
I
a
do a lot
screen
of
capture. I got you.
yeah, yep. So I can do a lot with data analytics. So if I'm have a client or something, I can show them the process of what I'm doing and how to get there. And they can actually see my computer. They don't have to see me. They see what I'm working on.
Yeah.
So so I would record his video, then I'd go in and I'd edit it, and I'd add music and build him as a thumbnail, which I use Affinity Designer, and
Okay.
Affinity there's 3 of them: Designer, Photo, and I have them right here. Oh my goodness, Publisher. So they're actually very similar to Photoshop.
Okay.
Very similar to Photoshop, but you don't have the subscription.
Yeah, that's required.
So they're $50 a piece,
Oh, wow.
but that's it. I mean, it's a one-time thing. I don't have, because I was gonna use Photoshop
for both thumbnails and video, right?
Nope. I use Camtasia for the videos.
Oh, so Camtasia you can edit video as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So that's what I would do there. There's a program, I don't know, you might be familiar, kind of give you an idea.
Canva, I know, is one.
Yep. So I started with Canva for the thumbnails, and then I moved into the Affinity, because Affinity gives you a little bit more options and gives you a lot more
freedom,
abilities. Yeah. And then there's also like, I'm a part of a Facebook group, so you can ask questions and get back, get feedback and all that stuff. So
that's what I like about like Adobe. It is expensive, but for me, I've seen what some people can do with Photoshop, so I know the capabilities of it, and so I just like having the ability to potentially do something amazing, even though
Photoshop. So I've looked at both of them, and Photoshop and Affinity can do the same things.
Oh, okay. It's just no subscription and a little probably different minor.
I'm sure they've got their minor differences, like you just said, but it's
in large in part the same.
Yeah, I got tangled up.
No, you're good. Gamer's life, man.
Dude, I'm right next to them.
Fortunately for me, I just have this one wire. Everything else, I've got cable management underneath my desk, where I've got like clips and wires going through and everything.
So I have my my Elite controller, but it's all right here, right? So my computer, my laptop's right here.
Gotcha.
My Xbox is behind me, behind my screen. So I mean, it's all compacted right here.
For sure.
And I do have this one cord, but holy smokes,
it gets around you sometimes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So he allowed me to work with him. He allowed me to do some stuff, and he did a couple tournaments. He did a Alcatraz tournament, and I was helping him with that. So Mamba really allowed me to do a lot for him.
Sure.
And he's very grateful. He's a good guy. I really like him a lot. And I mean, we talk offline. We talked on, exchanged phone numbers, and we're able to do that. And then, really, to be honest with you, I got into streaming so I knew how to do it. Mm-hmm. So that way, if somebody had problems, I could help them.
Sure. Okay.
And that's really the only reason why I got into streaming.
Yeah, it's just for the knowledge of it.
Yeah. So that way, and I've helped some. Mm-hmm. It's kind of neat where I can go into a stream and somebody asks for, and I know how to do it.
Yeah.
And if I don't know the exact answer, at least I know where to go to get it.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. So I find that enjoyable,
Yeah.
to help people out and find out where things are going and how to get there and being able to do that. Right.
Yeah.
So
no, definitely.
But I don't. But cutting my teeth was with him. Just let me do what I could. Of course I would. Hey, do you like this? You don't like this?
Yeah.
And I would keep reiterating. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
I'm a man. I got broad shoulders. I can do it. Right.
I love it. Yeah. No, I definitely want to check out some of his. Do you still edit for him? Then is that?
No, I don't actively do it anymore. My schedule in the last month has just been upside down.
I gotcha.
As far as work.
Yeah, you'll have to send me some of the videos you've done though. I definitely want to look into it.
Yeah, they're all on his YouTube.
Yeah.
Unless you want something different.
I can just post or shoot me the link of one of his YouTube videos that you thought was really good, and I just like to see people's editing styles, because it is just that it's an art form, it's a style, and everybody is so different. I don't know if you've seen any of my videos.
Do you do a jump cut or do you do a ripple cut? Do you just do a fade?
Exactly.
So what I ended up doing is really capturing the kills, right? The looting, the boring walking around looking for stuff. I kind of really edited all that out. So what I would do is my whole premise of when I was trying to edit the video would come from the idea of I wanted to get the setup, the kill, and then maybe a little bit after, depending on what was happening afterwards.
Sure.
So that's how I'd really edit. So each kill was its own little piece, and then I would mash them together. I'd use a glow transition, so it would glow. And what I would also look for is the gun position.
Oh, and try and match them up with the next cut. I do the exact same thing.
With the same gun, right?
Yeah.
So if he's using an MP40, I wanted to make sure that the next cut, if he was using an MP, because I want him to see that he changed. Or I wanted to see that that he was actually having to do. I mean, this wasn't coming easy to him. He actually had to go through the motions, change the gun, whatever he had to do. And then what I'd also look for is making sure that I wasn't cutting off, if he was in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah.
Which is tough, because if you're in a conversation with your squad or whatever, that's a little bit on the hard. But that was so in priority, that's the way I would do it, right? So the priority would be the setup of the situation, the gun, and then the conversation, making sure that in that priority. So that's really how I approached it. And then I got into music, adding music to it.
A whole other dynamic, right?
I absolutely love it, man. So I use this website. It's called
Epidemic Sound.
Yeah,
I use the same thing.
Epidemic Sound. Absolutely love it. For $15 a month, you can't beat it.
Yeah. And sound effects, you can get practically anything and everything on there in audio form. Yeah.
That's right. So I absolutely really liked it. And then after I was done, it would kind of give me a feel for what he wanted, what I would think would be good for a good thumbnail, right? So I wanted to get the video done, and then I would look at a good thumbnail and what would be good for describing what was going on. And that by itself is an art all on its own.
Yeah, because you're telling a story in a picture.
Oh my goodness, that is not easy. And when people can do it well, they can do it well.
Yeah.
So
it makes a difference. Definitely makes.
It sure does, because that's the first thing people are going to see. Right? If they search on your name and they see a thumbnail, that's what they're going to see. Is that going to be enough?
The title, you know what I mean? The title and those go hand in hand. So if the thumbnail can help kind of accentuate the title a little bit more to where it builds intrigue, then and you have to essentially tell yourself, I have to click on this, then you're hooked,
Yep. So there's a couple guys, they're not gamers. They're YouTube content creators. And I've listened to it. I don't remember them off the top of my head. I tell you who they were. One guy, he, I don't know if the word test or does a thing like if he has a new tech come out, and he will explain the tech and
like tech reviews and stuff like that. Yeah.
Tech reviews. Another guy just does like commentary, things like that. So a couple of them, both of those people, and then a couple others, they put out, how to grow on YouTube, or what's the most important thing on YouTube. And there's actually a website that I started using, is coming up with a name. So like a good title. Yeah. So you would put in keywords, and this algorithm thing in the background would help develop a word, or a title based on the words that you provided. They're pretty canned and boxed, so it's not like, but at least it'll get your juices flowing on a good title. Yeah. So, and that's really where, for me, that's the hardest part. Once I get going, I'm good. It's just that, okay, where do I want to go with this? How do I want to see this?
Yeah, so when there's so many options, which one to choose.
Yeah. So a lot of what I got into was just so I could get the knowledge, so I could help. Yeah. So I could help out everybody. Yeah. I enjoy helping. I really do.
That's honestly amazing, man. And it's definitely a unique way, or a unique story on how you got into streaming. Because most people are just like, yeah, I was like playing, I was having fun. I started either watching a streamer, or one of my buddies was streaming. Yeah. And I slowly got into it. You know what I mean? But you went in with a purpose to help others, but you fell in love with the process. You fell in love with the process of editing before you even fell in love with the process of streaming, which I think is so cool, because that's something that content creators don't really talk that much about. And I've edited my fair share of videos, and there's actually a period, I don't know if you've seen any of my content on YouTube, but I did a series where I documented every snipe that I hit every single day for 14 days straight. And it was just that day, and however many sniper shots I got in that day, I would then the same day edit it, make a montage of it. Sorry, I didn't quite catch. Siri.
Eavesdropping.
I didn't quite catch that. Yeah, thanks, Siri. But I would then edit it that same day, and then I would release it at like 2 in the morning. 2, 3 in the morning. And it was so much fun. It was like 6 hours of streaming, and then like a 6-minute clip would take like 6 hours to edit, because you have to go through and cut all of those sniper shots out, and then you have to put it to music, and then you have to put in like a funny moment and like all that stuff, And so it was like creating like a little like mini production every single day. Burnt out with it. It wasn't sustainable, but it was so much fun, and I learned so much by making myself do that, and it was just a great experience.
I don't want to get super like studious on you, but there's a process of learning. Everybody learns differently, right? You have, and it's called VARK, VARK. Okay. There's visual, audio, audible, or reading it, or doing it. Yeah. So I am an audible doer. So I want to hear how somebody does it, and then I'm going to go do it. Yeah. Then I want to go do it. Yeah. So so I can follow along. So like if I want to try something new, I can follow along, and then I'm going to go do it and go apply it.
Yeah. When I used to be a professional ballroom dancer, and I would also teach as well to make extra income in between competitions. And I forget the last one, but it's a visual, auditorial, and then there's a tertiary one, which is like a combination of the two. Like there's somebody that has to like do it along with you. You know what I mean? Like feel it. And then there's somebody that needs to listen to it, and then there's somebody that needs to be kind of a combination of the two. And it's crazy the different like methods of learning, that you can, or approaches you can take to it.
Yep. So. Yeah. So I absolutely I haven't helped out much in, like I said, in the last couple months. I'm sure because the holidays slow down and stuff like that, but I found myself looking for people, small streamers. And seeing if I can't be, and I would just pop in. I would watch what they're doing, and I wouldn't. You know how people come in, well, you could do this better, or you could do that better. Yeah. That absolutely drives me bonkers. Or they'll come in, that's wrong, and then they'll leave. okay, what's wrong? What part of it's wrong?
Yeah.
Do you not hear me? Do you hear me softly?
Yeah.
And then they would, and then you don't get any more feedback.
There's no
I want that
context.
feedback.
Yeah.
I want that feedback. I don't have a problem somebody telling me something's wrong. Just stick around long enough for me to narrow it down. I'll stop my game to make sure my stream's right.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Right? What's the point, right? If I'm going to stream, if it's no sound.
Yeah.
Okay, what sound? My voice? Can you can't hear me? Right,
Yeah,
that kind of thing. But
exactly.
I'm being silly more than anything. But at the same time, it has happened. They come in, they drop the bomb, and they leave, and you're not real sure what's happening. So,
and that's just something that comes with streaming over time. You know what I mean? You just kind of get used to the different personalities that'll come through your stream.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have, pardon my French, the little shits that come in that just want to disrupt. You know what I mean? And they're just immature, and you just kind of take them for what they are. Sometimes you can just be like, yo, dude, like, I'm just having a good time. Like, it's all love in the community. We're just joking around. You're more than welcome to join, but there's the door. You can walk through it anytime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
so there was, so I was streaming. What was I streaming? I must have been streaming Modern Warfare, but my title said Black Ops.
Okay.
Or was it the opposite? Because the beta came out, I streamed the beta, and then I went back to Blackout, but my title still said Modern Warfare. I had 3 mods. I had 3 mods in my stream, and this guy was just being a pill. He came in and he was just and they all right, bye, see you later, and they banned him. I'm like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, okay,
yeah,
I'll go change my title. So
right.
it's
that's justified though too. If he's really taking it that far. Like, I have full trust in like my mods. Like, I'm very particular on who I do mod, because I do believe that it is a responsibility, and it's also a reflection of what the stream represents.
Absolutely.
And so, like, with my mods, I tell them, like, hey, when you're a mod, I give you full, like, you can ban anybody that you want, but if I find out, like, what happened and it wasn't in line with who I am and what the stream represents, then that mod will be taken away.
Sure.
Like, I'm all about giving people chances. So if they cuss in stream, because, like, I'm kind of a PG streamer, I would say, except for Thriller Thursdays, because that's involuntary. But if somebody cusses, I'll be like, hey, man, like, we don't really cuss here, or heavily in chat. Like, I'm okay if, like, they say shit once, but if they drop, like, the F-bomb or, like, some heavy language, then I'm just like, hey, man, like, this is more of a family-friendly streamer. We're trying to appeal to all audiences, And
right.
And like, I was like, you didn't know, just letting you know. And then if they're like, most of the times, just like, okay, like, I appreciate it. My bad, I didn't know. And we're like, no worries. But sometimes you get the guys who are just like, F this, like, this is BS. This is an 18-year-old plus game, da 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 da. And at that point, I'm like, bro, like, at that point, just walk through the door, like, walk out. Like, nobody's keeping you here, It's
just have a nice day. Just have it somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here.
That's right. That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
That's awesome.
So there's that. Like, you deal with haters all the time in streaming, because you're essentially putting yourself, your personality, who you are out to the internet, and people, it's not a two-way street, Like, they're just behind a keyboard.
I was playing with my brother, and somebody messaged him and said, your teammate sucks. I was like, okay, what does that mean?
Right. But imagine how miserable those people are.
Oh my goodness.
They have to take their time out of their day to go like try and ruin somebody else's. Like, I have empathy for those people, because it's just like, what, like, your life sucks that much that you have to try and lower everyone else to, like, how you feel,
right?
To your level. It's comical to me more than anything. I like to have fun with some trolls too, though. I'll entertain them for a little bit, or entertain myself a little bit. But
yeah, that's right. There you go. Yeah, that's the way you got to look at it. Absolutely.
So what are your projections for, or what are your hopes and strategies for this coming up year? What do you want to try to achieve?
Um, I want to I want to continue trying to help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my stream schedule, I was kind of set up to where it'd be like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You know, I have a full-time job, family, and all that stuff. So, you know, I sit down with the wife and let her know what I'd like to do, and so usually a Monday, Wednesday, Friday stream. Usually, couple 3 hours is all I can get in the evening on the East Coast time.
Okay.
But then I'll be on Saturday. Sometimes I'll stream on Saturday. Sometimes I won't. Just depends on who I'm playing with and if I'm not, or if I have something going on. I don't want to jump the stream and then sorry guys, I got to go after 30 minutes just because I have family things going on and stuff. But I, you know, to be honest with you, I actually try to walk away from streaming. To be honest with you, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy the communication. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy the challenge of trying to game and keep a conversation.
It's a skill.
It's a weird thing, I think, but at the same time, it keeps my mind. I think it keeps my mind sharp. Keeps me always looking. Always, you know, you get into a routine or a thing, and it's just over and over and over again, and you forget the details. I don't want to forget the details. You know, I really enjoy what we're doing. So I don't know if you remember though, we've actually played together.
Have we?
Yeah, we were a quad with Mamba and Marsh, I think. Marshall Gaming. Yeah, I think it was like one game and I had just came in and you had to leave the next game.
Oh, okay.
So I actually have come to your channel and I'm like I had to laugh. I didn't say anything in chat.
Sure.
But when I opened up your stream and you pushed your chair away and you're doing push-ups, I'm like, this guy is too much for me, man. That makes me tired just watching it.
That's I've been doing it for a minute, man. I've been doing those push-ups for a minute.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, that makes me tired. I mean, look at me. I don't do any push-ups anymore. I'm just like, holy smokes, this guy makes me tired. I don't want to be tired.
That's funny. Yeah, no, it's just something that I do that like I've found that there's very few ways that you can have like your audience influence people or influence the streamer.
Sure.
You know? And so the push-ups, one, like I'm an active guy. I don't like to be sedentary, and streaming is very sedentary.
Right.
So whenever somebody follows or subscribes on Twitch, I'll do 10 push-ups, you know? And it's a way for me to kind of get out of my chair. Otherwise, like I won't, and I'll feel like crap for the rest of the day, just me personally.
Right.
And then it's kind of now manifested into like the Twitch points, you know, the viewer points.
Okay.
Now if somebody gets 2,000 viewer points, then no matter what point in the game, so like normally a follower or a subscription, I'll do them at the end of the game, you know?
Okay.
But during the game, if somebody redeems that, even if I'm in the helicopter and like I'm like mid-flight down into like
no way,
they redeem those, I have to hop out of the chair, I have to do my 10 push-ups, and I have to go. I even I don't know if you know who Bane is.
Yeah, I know Bane.
Bane?
Yeah.
I was playing with him the other day, and like I kept having to like rotate my my webcam down and then do the push-ups like this. But if you notice, it looks right at my crotch, right?
Yeah.
And so everybody in the stream started calling it the crotch cam, you know? And I'm like, God damn it. And so now it's become a thing where they're like, dude, you really need to get like a push-up, like a dedicated push-up camera.
Right.
Like, okay. I was like, and then they're like, but we have to call it the crotch cam, you know? And so, so I'm creating this.
The legacy.
The legacy. So I have two now. You're watching me on like this one, but then this one is the one that like I'm recording. But I'm in the process of creating an overlay that says crotch cam brought to you in part by I Am Bane.
Nice.
So then I can just press the button and then I can just do the push-ups and go.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, man, it's a lot of fun. Like I thoroughly enjoy it. I love the community aspect of it more probably than anything. Call of Duty for me has kind of gotten a little stale because Blackout, I've been playing it for over a year now, and I'm not a fan of Modern Warfare, but
sure.
I stick in it just for the family aspect. You know, I really feel like I've built a family, and going back to the push-ups, it's a way for me to interact with them as well. You know, like
Sure.
they can tell me to do things in game, and like, yeah, I can do it, but it's a personal touch when you can be like, hey, I'm gonna screw with you. And like 2,000 points, do push-ups right now in the middle of this game, whether I'm in a gunfight or whatever. You know, it just makes it dynamic. You know,
you can say, "Well, I didn't see that yet," right?
Right. I try to be honest with it.
No, I know you do. I'm just messing.
But yeah, man, it's fun. It's a different dynamic that I haven't seen anybody else do.
Sure.
You know? Now that I have done it, I have a couple of people that do stream that kind of watch my content or consume my content. They've now adopted it, and they've come to me and be like, hey man, is this okay? Or like I've stumbled upon their streams and they were doing it, and they're like, hey man, I was gonna talk to you about it. I don't want you to be pissed off at me. I'm like, no man, like have at it. Like this is promoting like fitness and health. You know what I mean? Like I would never be mad at somebody trying to better themselves. You know, like,
that's
by
awesome.
all means, take it. Like I
that's
want
awesome.
you to. But it's good fun. I thoroughly enjoy it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So man, what games are you looking to play this year? Are there any adjustments on stream or stick with Call of Duty?
So I think I like I said, I'm not very good at the battle royale. Not saying that I'm not going to play it again or anything like that, but I'm at the point where I just really like the multiplayer.
Okay.
There was a day, Thursday, I wasn't streaming, but I played 2 or 3 hours of 1v1 when they had it on there.
Really?
On the Modern Warfare.
Okay.
They had 1v1. I absolutely loved it.
Really?
I mean,
it's just the 2v2 gunfight. The 2v2 gunfight
same thing. They changed it. They changed the 2v2 to 1v1. Now it's 3v3.
Oh, okay.
But I love that aspect of it because it's you and the other guy.
Yeah, and the best man wins, you know?
Yeah, and when I have people, I've never had this ever happen to me before. When people are calling me names because I whooped the tar out of them, it's never happened to me before. I said, "All right, well, you have a nice day." You know? Like
kicking your butt. Like,
there's one map. I don't know how familiar you are with them, but there's one map where you're in the woods, not the pine one, but the other, the hill.
Yeah.
And you have that little gully in the middle, and the little broken outpost right there.
Like the trench. Yeah.
So I would always run up to that, and he was always like right there, so I could. And we were all done, and he, nice effing camping there, buddy. And it's like, yeah, I can't. And I told him, I said, yeah, I was camping right in the middle.
Your audio just cut out.
Did it?
There we go. Yeah. You're good.
So I said, yeah, I was camping right in the middle, so you could see me. So I don't get that a lot. So,
it's on my end. Hold on one second. Sorry. I have my Astro headset plugged in through my PlayStation, and so I have an aux cord that goes into my PC. But if my PlayStation goes into sleep mode, I lose all audio.
Okay, there you go.
So it kind of makes it a little challenging at times. It normally never turns off, but I think it went into sleep mode. But
so that's why, and that's speaking of all that stuff, that's why I stream for my Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
It is so much easier to set up.
Oh, it's easier, but the customization of it is a lot more restricted too. So it's kind of the trade-off. Do you know what I mean?
I was looking for easy.
Yeah. No,
I was looking for easy.
Those just getting into the scene, PlayStation, I think, should be an absolute must. That way you can get experience and see if it's something that you enjoy without putting in extra money. You don't even need a webcam to start. You just need your PlayStation
correct.
And a decent enough upload speed where you can even have like 5 megabytes, I think, and still stream.
Yeah.
And that's all you need. It's probably what you already have. And that way you can establish whether or not this is a passion of yours and you want to pursue it rather than dropping, like 10 grand into a setup or
so if I look at what I have just for the streaming, I probably got about a good $3,000 without the gaming system.
Yeah.
Just in the gear.
Yeah.
Right? Just in the gear.
Yeah, and for
So
me, I mean, not to flex or anything like that, but I've got three, four, five, 3,000, close to like probably 7 grand
yeah,
total, and then probably boost that up to like another 8 to 9 with the software and everything like
sure,
that I use like
absolutely.
monthly over the years and whatnot.
So the
The
computer I use, I actually, like I said, I have a side business that I'm trying to
Yeah,
get going.
okay,
So that I don't count the computer, the monitors, or
for
any
sure.
of
You got
that
something set up already.
because I had that already for my
Yeah,
business.
and you're a
It's a
data
gaming computer.
analyst, or
Yeah, data analytics. Yeah,
okay, very
yep.
nice,
And I
man.
build. So I use a lot of Microsoft products, basically trying to, like every business has the admin side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I try to automate all of that. I can
Okay.
automate. I can probably automate 90% of somebody's back office setup, whether it be payrolls, like I build a whole you know what CRM is?
Mm-mm.
It's it basically your payroll, your human resources,
Okay.
people, vendors, whatever the case may be, right? The
Like all
whole
that logs, yeah.
package.
Mm-hmm.
So you have your vendors, your employees, pay, schedules, whatever. I can automate that through Microsoft Access.
How can you automate HR though?
Because you basically, from the aspect of training certificates or training needs, or you're looking for, so like I know you're in swimming. So let's say you had a swimming business. Now you want to track all your swimmers,
Mm-hmm.
right? From the HR perspective, you might need somebody. So now you have all their certifications. You
Yeah.
might need something that the swimmer needs something,
Yeah.
or
So it'll
and you
alert
can
you that
track.
they're no longer
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
registered and something. Okay.
Right.
I gotcha.
So not only, but for the human resource side, you're thinking about like onboarding and things like that. But once you get them into the system, um, that's when you can start tracking that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
So
That's interesting, man.
I have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm actually one. So I want to take all the things that I've learned streaming.
Yeah.
I actually want to try to make my own commercial, low
For
budget, for my business.
really, that'd be
Yeah.
fascinating, man.
Yeah, I'd
Where
like
would
to
you want to
try to
air
see.
it?
YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do like a
I don't
campaign on YouTube, Facebook,
YouTube, maybe YouTube, Facebook. I have a
Instagram.
Facebook
Yeah.
page. Yeah. So I'll, just try to see what I can do with it. I mean, we can make videos. I mean, I can, like you're doing a podcast, right? So
Yeah.
you're doing a podcast, you're doing the video for the YouTube. That's really a commercial.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
It's
think
a
about it.
show. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really why it's not like a TV commercial by no means, but it's be something that I can explain what I do, show what I do, and how to contact me, kind of
Yeah.
thing, you know.
And put your spin
So
on it for sure.
yeah.
Well, that's
So
awesome. What are you trying, or who are you trying to target with that? Like with your like new business? Like what
small
demographic?
businesses, small
Small businesses.
businesses. Yeah, small business. So here's a pitch, right? So a lot of these programs, and I'll give you for a client that I have, they cut brass and aluminum for ammo rounds.
Oh wow.
And the program they use to track their job, they track their employees, they track the shipping in and out, they track all the program that they are using cost them $6,000 to set up, and they pay $150 a month for 5 seats. When I say 5 seats, 5 computers.
Mm-hmm.
So they had 65, they had $6,000 to set it up,
Yeah.
and then they pay 750 a month
Oh, it's 150 per seat.
per seat. So
Jesus.
what I do is I want to come in and I'll say, well, I can build this for 3,500, customize it to what you want, and it's yours to keep.
Oh, you're not gonna get a monthly royalty off of it.
Nope. Because what I want them to do is say, hey, this guy did a good job for me. Why don't you go check him out? But when they'll call me up and say, hey, but I customize their product to their needs,
Yeah.
because a lot of these products that we get, um, software solutions that they have out there, they have things on you'll never use,
Yeah.
right? You're paying for 100% of a product that you're only using 50% of.
Sure. But at that
So,
point, like I understand like the providing the value and not having that back end like monthly payment,
hmm
but from a business standpoint, because I do like kind of like the back end of things, and this is just
yeah,
like my thought on it. It's not that
sure.
it's right or anything like that, um, but like maybe even like doing like a yearly kind of subscription to it. You know what I mean? Of like even if it's they're paying 750 right now for it, you know, per month. Uh, just doing like a $500 yearly subscription, if you will, or yearly renewal, because
hmm
that way, like if that's a business that they have for 10 years, you now get like an extra $5,000 over that 10 year span. And then let's say you do that for 40, 50 different companies, you know what I mean? By the time you retire, you could have that residual
Right.
income, you know, and that could almost be like a retirement plan in and of itself, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. And
That's
that's really what I'm trying to set it up for is when I
okay.
retire from my current job that I would have that residual income. So I don't
Yeah,
have to work outside the home, go flip burgers again. So
exactly.
not that
Exactly.
that's bad. It's just I
Yeah,
don't
it's just
I
not
don't
where
know.
you're at this point
Yeah.
in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I never worked in like the fast food industry, but I was a lifeguard. I was even a Christmas tree salesman as like my first
Okay.
job,
There you go.
and all that. I've been always like naturally good at like sales, I guess you could say.
Sure.
But yeah, there's no shame in I think any job. You know, every job is vital to some degree. You
That's
know,
right.
everybody has to fill a
Somebody
role.
has to do something.
Exactly. So like
That's right.
my uncle, he's a very successful businessman in
Okay.
Puerto Rico. He owns a company that does like all the intercoms for like fast food places, you know, that
Okay.
you speak into through the drive-through. He also does like all of the speakers in like a restaurant, or
Okay.
he just had like a big contract with like the big mall that they built in Puerto Rico. He did all of like the intercom and like the speaker
Wow.
systems throughout there.
Nice.
Mostly a multi-million dollar company. And his philosophy is you treat the janitor like you treat the CEO,
That's right.
you know,
Yeah.
and vice versa. You know, everybody has a job to play, and you never favor one person over the other. You know,
That's
everybody's
correct.
integral to the company. And that's something that I've adopted in like my streaming is like it doesn't matter if you're watching my stream 10 minutes a week or 10 hours a week. Everybody is important to me. You know, they're
That's
taking
right.
their time out, doesn't matter how much time it is, to acknowledge and be a part of what I'm doing, you know, and
That's right. Yeah.
that's
That's awesome.
that's the biggest thing for me is just appreciating whatever somebody can give, you know. And I
That's
think people
right.
get
Yeah.
hung up on the monetary sense of it, you know,
hmm
and they favor people that donate to them because that's a way that they can sustain themselves, and I definitely understand that, but I feel like that's very short term. You know,
Yeah.
that's looking for that like immediate gratification rather than playing the long game of appreciating everybody in whatever capacity. I always say this: whatever capacity you can support in, I greatly appreciate it. If that's 10 minutes out of your week, that's 10 minutes out of your week. If that's $100 out of your bank account and you're financially in the position where you want to do that, and that's your way of showing your support, then 100% I'm not going to stop you. But I don't want anybody feeling inferior if they can't donate.
That's right. Yeah. That's
You
good.
know,
Yeah.
and
I
it's a big factor for me.
I like that. That's a good philosophy to have because I the older I get, the more everybody has value. I don't
Yeah,
care where you come from. I don't care
exactly.
what your background. I don't care what good or bad life you had as a kid or whatever life has dealt you to this point.
Hmm.
Everybody has value. There's a value to everybody,
Most definitely.
right? And it's not a value that I'm going to exploit.
Yeah,
You don't want to exploit people, but you want to, can my value and your value work together for the common good or, help somebody else out and that's
exactly.
really that's why I kind of got into the side of helping because that's the value I can put into it, right?
Yeah,
I may not be able to do the financial or I may not be able to sit in your stream, but I can help you in other ways, that
exactly. Yeah.
somebody else may not be able to. So
Still show your
it's
support,
all,
you know.
it's all works together,
Yeah, and it's
right?
all relative too. That's how I view things. Like
Yep.
I used to be so black and white, and even in my day to day life, I really am. You know, like if somebody
hmm
crosses me, I'll forgive you, but I'm not letting you back into my circle. You know, I'll never
Sure.
forget. You know, I'm not one to
Right.
hold grudges, but I'm one to be cautious.
Be
You
cautious.
know,
Yeah.
But when it comes to streaming, I do realize, like, or I've come to realize there is such a gray area to streaming. You know, like people change, audiences change, your community morphs, and you kind of have to just go with the ebbs and flows of it. And just as long as you stick with like your moral compass, you're fine. Everything.
Yeah.
If you hold on to your integrity, you'll get through anything. You know.
So yeah, one of the things I teach my kids was character. And how I teach character is you're going to do the right thing when nobody's looking.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm going to be able to do that when nobody's looking, I'll do that when they are.
Exactly.
I'll be able to have that same mantra no matter what I'm at, no matter who's watching me.
It doesn't matter if there's pressure on you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's just common courtesy for
just
people.
Being a good person. Yeah.
That's it. And I could actually be the meanest person in the world, but still have value, still understand what value is. Yeah. I just look at it from the idea that why do you have to be mean?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The world's such a better place when we're all just trying to get along. You know what I mean?
That's it. That's it. I'm not out to get anybody, you know. Yeah. I mean, that says it just is. I mean, I don't think I have a vindictive bone in my body like you. I mean, I can forgive.
Yeah.
And I'll forgive and forget. I can forgive and forget. But like you, I'll forgive and forget, but I'm cautiously going forward. Yeah. So I don't get set up again, right? You don't want to get set up again by people's. Exactly.
So there are some people that do that, you know, that leech, if you will, you know, and it makes it hard because you want to see the best in everybody, you know, but a few bad seeds can kind of taint the entire perspective that some people have, you know, and that's how some people get so closed off to others. Like I've even been in relationships where they've had prior relationships that have been horrible. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they just base everything off of that. And that's why the relationship ends up not working, because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point.
That's right.
Where they put you in that box no matter what.
Yeah.
To almost protect themselves.
That's right. It's a protective feature. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a defense mechanism. But you have empathy for it too, or at least I do, where it's just like, I'm sorry that like somebody hurt you that much to where you can't open up.
Right.
You know, and hopefully like with time that subsides and it gets better, but at that point there's nothing you can really do on your end.
Right. Yeah.
Other than just kind of be empathetic.
That's right. That's right.
All right, man. Well, it has been an hour. I do actually have to go to a swim meet right now. I'm going to be there Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The
only one question I wanted to is
I've got a couple more minutes, but
how did you come up with your name?
Slevtek. So it's a combination of two words. So I was always fascinated with like names, you know, like you would see like Diplo is like a EDM guy, you know what I mean? I think that's a really cool name. Or like Nike or Uber and things like that. So I wanted a very short name, you know, like almost like a 2-syllable word. I did a little bit of research, and like the big brands have 2 syllables, you know, it's something easy, quick, and kind of sleek to remember.
Right.
You know? And so when I was thinking, I used to stream on League of Legends, which I did a podcast with the guy named Reignite. He knew me before I even started streaming. He started streaming, and that's what got me into streaming. But I was Immortal Kavoth for my first ever like Twitch name.
Oh, okay.
And it was based off of like Immortal has always been like, I had like the Immortal Brotherhood clan like in World at War for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
You know, so like the Immortal kind of always stuck there. And then Kavoth is the character from the King Killer's Chronicles. My favorite series, book series ever.
Okay.
And so I put those two together, but like everybody didn't know how to pronounce Kavoth because it's Kvothe, and they're like it just didn't stick. And so when I started streaming World at War, that was like my first time streaming on the console, and then also playing Call of Duty. You know?
Okay.
So I wanted to kind of a clean slate,
kind
of reinvent myself, and My favorite movie is Lucky Number Slevin. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, great movie. It's my favorite movie of all time, and it's kind of like it's a thinker. You know, it makes you think.
Okay.
And there's a lot of famous actors in it, like Bruce Willis is in it, Morgan Freeman, and a couple of others. But great movie. So that's where the first part of my name comes in, is Slev.
Okay.
Lucky Number Slevin. Favorite name too. I think I'm gonna name my kid Slevin because I think it's a dope name.
That's awesome.
But then the other part of it is to kind of pay homage to my start in YouTube. Like how I got introduced was through tech channels and like tech reviews. You know, and I always, even to this day, I find it so fascinating, like the different tech that's out there, and I watch reviews and everything like that. And so it's a combination of two words. So Slevin, which comes from my movie, like, you know, Slevin, and then tech is short for like technology. So Slevtek.
Oh, that's awesome.
Comes together, and kind of created a logo off of it. Got the logo there, and then I have like my own shirt and everything like that. And it's formed into a brand, and I really like it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw that Miss Gigglebox had a shirt.
Yeah, it's really cool, and the representation behind the gear is more meaningful than I think people realize, and that's how it's designed. It's supposed to be minimalistic, but the gear itself is to represent the small part we all play. You know, like all of us are gears inside of a machine that makes up like the Slevtek community. You know, and it doesn't matter how big or small your gear is. If you take that gear out, the machine's not going to work.
Right.
You know? So that gear kind of represents the community more than anything.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
Yeah, I'm a thinker, so I like to like have meaning behind what I do, and so
that's awesome.
It's transcended a little bit. So
that's cool.
I'm very grateful. Yeah, man. Well,
I would have never guessed any of that.
Yeah, I don't even think I've explained it to that many people. So maybe they'll hear this and they'll understand a little bit more.
That's awesome.
Thanks for that question, man. Not many people ask, and I'm not one to like really talk too much about certain things, but
I do have to say that I really appreciate this aspect that you've implemented. There's no other streamer doing it.
Yeah, doing the podcast.
Yeah, the podcast and just talking to other streamers. I know there was a time back in the day where, oh no, we don't talk about other streamers. We don't, you know, don't. I understand about self-promoting, but we're not promoting other people either.
Yeah.
But I think in the last 9-10 months that I've been involved, it's not that way. You know, it's, hey, I've got a new guy, come support him. You know, and even in streams, you know, people who've been established, who have a good following, hey, go check out this new guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. I think I don't know. I think we don't have to be enemies to do the same thing, you know? And I think you're not taking your viewership from my viewership or vice versa. It is what it is, and people are going to do what they're going to do, you know? And if we can work together, and it's awesome.
Yeah. And I have a couple of philosophies on that, but my biggest factor is like, I know what it's like to be the new man, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just maybe, and I've said this in 3 or 4 podcasts now, I'm maybe just one like progressive step from where everybody else is. You know, like one small step. We're all still very small drops in a big bucket.
That's right.
Know? And fortunate, I'm in a position right now where I do have a little bit of viewership and I have such a supportive community that they want to go and support others, you know, and show them love and help uplift others rather than drag them down. And I want to use that, you know, I want to give a voice to the little man, and I want to have a platform where people can come on and tell their story, you know, and if one of my viewers really messes with you or anybody on the podcast, then I want them to go watch you, you know, and that means that they cut their time of watching me, but they're more happy. I'm in the happy business, you know. I'm in the fulfillment business. I'm not in it for the money, you know. I want to try and make an impact in the most positive way that I can, and whatever that is, and whatever that.
This is just entertainment. This is entertainment. Let's entertain people.
Yeah, and I get to have conversations with so many different people, and I've created relationships. And
to be honest with you, I'm like, be honest with you, I'm like, man, how come I didn't think about doing this? This is awesome.
Dude, I've had this idea for years. I've
This
had this
is
idea for
awesome.
years, but
This is
just
super
pulled the
awesome.
trigger. Dude, I appreciate it. I really
Yeah.
appreciate the appreciation for it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just it's a way to build a bigger community off of micro communities is what I call
Right.
it. You know, I want to
Yep.
kind of, not me myself, but I want to have a community that's built around small communities. You know, like all
Sure.
those small communities, I want like this platform or this podcast will be a common denominator that'll link other communities together. You
Right.
know? And because there's so many more little streamers than there are big streamers. You
Yeah.
know? And so it's kind of like a revolution, you know, of streamers. If we all collect and come together, those big time streamers don't stand a chance. You know what I mean?
That's
I'm not
right.
trying to take them off the map or anything like that.
Yeah, I got
But I want to give the little man a voice, you know, that they can talk. And I'm gonna have anybody and everybody on that I can. So if I have somebody that has 1 million subscribers on, I'm not gonna say no to having them on the podcast, you know, but I'm also not going to say no to the person who averages 3 viewers either. And that's the deciding factor between me that I don't think anybody else is doing, is they don't want to give the time of day to the little man because they don't get anything in return from it.
Right.
You know, in the here and now. But in the late game, you know, if you play late game or play the long game, there's so much value that you bring. You know, you kind of become this central hub of communities that come together and support each other. You know? And I think that's so much more powerful than just the here and now.
That's awesome.
You know, so
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's good philosophy.
I appreciate it, man. And dude, thank you so much for coming on. This conversation has been really great. We went over an hour. Normally I keep it at an hour, but we've been talking a little bit more. Love it. But I do actually have to go now because I have to head off to the swim meet. But
I do
where
appreciate
can we find
you,
bro? Where can we find you?
So it's IronSub22 on Twitch.
Okay.
I have an Instagram and I have Twitter.
Okay.
So I don't use YouTube for that much anymore. I'm more of YouTube just to follow other streamers that are still there. I don't put any content up there for the streams. So Twitch is IronSub22 and
your name's Tony, right?
Yeah, my name's Tony. Yeah,
Tony,
but my
Discord is Dr. Tony.
My screen name is IronSub22. Yep.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you have made it this far in the podcast, you're awesome. I'm just gonna tell you that straight up. Make sure to go follow my man Tony, also known as IronSub22, over on Twitch. Follow him on YouTube as well. Let's get him some more follows. Maybe it'll motivate him to make some videos. Because I want to see your editing style. I want to see you edit some of your own content, man. I think that'd be great.
Okay.
But make sure you go show this man some love. This has been Slevteks Roundtable. Every time I say that, I feel like I'm talking to the third person. I'm a narcissist, but I promise I'm not. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one.